Welcome, everybody, to another episode of WoT Talk, or Wheel of Time Talk. I want to send a special thank you to Zach for helping me come up with an introduction for Cosmere Talk. I was saying in the last episode that I needed to think of a good intro, and he said, come one, come all, to Cosmere Talk. Thank you, Zach. That nails it on the head. We're going with that. Moving on, though, in this episode, we're going to have quite the spoiler-free section. Then we're going to talk about what scene from the entire series will be most difficult to bring to the screen. But first, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what I'd like you to discuss for next week's episode, because I realize people who leave for the spoiler section, they don't really get to know what's going on in terms of, the next week for spoiler-free, especially since this question is going to be spoiler free. And the question is, what's your Wheel of Time story? How did you find it? How long did it take you to read it? And what did you feel like once it was done? Did you immediately pick up another series? Did you wait a while? Did you jump into a reread? I'm interested to know, because I know for me, I reread it right away. As soon as I finished Memory of Light, I literally just transitioned into, because I read the physical book of Memory of Light, and then I moved straight in to Eye of the World. So I'm really curious to see what you guys experience. So the next video is going to be largely spoiler-free in that aspect. But right now we're going to get into the spoiler-free comments. And I want to make an extra point here, because I noticed a lot of spoiler comments mixed in with the general comment section below. I just want to make the point, guys, I always pin a comment to the top that is about the current question for this episode, and just leave your responses to the question I'm sending out there to that one. So, the question for this one was, what do you think will be the most difficult scene to bring to the screen, or the arc or character, whatever. So please leave your responses to that. Going forward, I'm not going to be reading comments that are not that are responses to this question that are not responses to that pinned comment. And in addition, if you are going to leave just a different spoiler-filled comment in the comments section, please clearly mark it spoilers. That's important to me going forward. But we're getting into spoiler-free right now. So I had a lot of people telling me that Robert Jordan's pen name was James Oliver Rigney. But the most detailed one here was from Captain Wilhelm 96. Robert Jordan was the pen name James Oliver Rigney Jr. used for the Wheel of Time and his Conan Barbarian novels. He used different pen names for different genres, with Regan O'Neill being used for his trilogy of historical romance novels, The Fallen Blood, The Fallen Pride, The Fallen Legacy. Jackson O'Reilly for his standalone Western novel called Cheyenne Riders, me and words or dot friends, and Robert Jordan for his fantasy novels. The reason he wanted to use pen names was because he wanted to save his own name for a novel he wanted to write about the Vietnam War, which he fought in. I did know he fought in the Vietnam War, because I've seen the only few times he's talked about that. I knew he used a couple of pen names, but I didn't know he used that many, and I thought Robert Jordan was just his real one. But I was wrong. And then we have one from VR Ice Blast, someone who's... See, it's, to me, your profile is Fred Flintstone, so now I'm just imagining Fred Flintstone playing VR. That's a strange image. One of the things people complain about and what they call filler is descriptions of clothing. But hearing just how important the clothing is to him makes those descriptions not filler, but something important. In the last episode, we talked about some correspondence Robert Jordan had back and forth with the people illustrating New Spring, the novel. And so it's, I agree that it really showed how much he cares about culture. He wrote history books, so clothing is describing the culture of the people. You can tell where someone is from just by the type of clothing that person is wearing, or the jewelry or a kind of weapon or gear they may be carrying, and just by how they may be carrying it. It's all because of it all becomes cultural significance for each character. It's very important to each character, and I agree. It's something that's very important going forward for RJ, our dog, in his story. And I never call it filler, but at times I do think it can be a little excessive. I don't know why I'm being so overly expressive right now. I'm not saying I hate it. I actually really love it at times. but there are certain scenes where I was like, okay, bro, I don't even know that much. So yeah, we have a couple comments here that weren't responses to the one I pinned at top. And with 41 responses to one I pinned up top, I might just have to go and only go with the ones there, which I feel like a jerk to the people who didn't do it for the pinned comment. It just depends how much time we have left at the end. From Zach Greene, I gotta say, I love how you're super obsessed. I love how super obsessed Robert Jordan is with details. Well, Zach, I love how you gave me an intro to Cosmere Talk, which is come one, come all to Cosmere Talk. It's great, and I appreciate you. Moving on, we have one from Paolo Sarti. One scene I look forward to seeing is the journey through the Portal Stone and the Great Hunt. Is that a spoiler? I don't think so, because you don't really know what it is until it happens. So I think we're safe to leave that in. And please mark your comments spoilers. But yeah, that's going to be a great scene. I guess that's not a response to the question, because you're saying you're looking forward to this one. Not that it's going to be super hard. So we have more coming in here. We have Ryan Ratchford pointing out that the last episode I screwed up the screen grab and the description. I did. I fixed it. Sorry about that. We have a good comment here from Bedtime Bookworm, who if you have not checked out her channel, please do. She's doing a Wheel of Time read-along, and if you have not finished the series, you're one of the spoiler-free people. You can do a read-along with her brilliant commentary and kind of summaries going through the series. Different than my summaries, because mine are rushed, and I made them when I wasn't very good at making videos yet, so they're pretty god-awful most of the time. Hers are beautiful and wonderful, and you should check them out. From Bedtime Bookworm, I really appreciate the long spoiler-free section. Today, I didn't even know there was a graphic novel of New Spring. Gonna have to check that out sometime. I recommend you do. I reread it, and it's like a brief summary. It's like a really brief summary of New Spring. They just kind of sprint through the story. The artwork is good. I'd say above average. I have it and like it more as just like a rare thing for the series. It's not something that you see everyone has, so that's why I really dig it. I love that he is so detailed with his feedback. It just shows how much he cares. What I would give for him to still be alive today and have input for the series. Me too. I teared up the day I heard he died. It really hit me hard, because this guy shaped so much of my childhood, and his series were such an escape for me when I kind of went through some rough times when I was a kid. When I first started dealing with anxiety problems, Wheel of Time was just my escape. So that hurt me hard, and I think the show would be better if he was still around, because my God, he would certainly make it to what it needs to be. That being said, I have complete faith in Harriet, because I know she will be a phenomenal addition, or a phenomenal voice and input for the series. I'm sure she will do a great job, his widow. And I think we as fans should, at any chance we get, if she ever does an interview, if she ever has some kind of media putting out regarding her, just show her some love and support, because she seems to be a wonderful person. Finishing off this comment, ignoring my tangent, as I see people have informed you, Robert Jordan's a pen name. I actually read the first book in historical fiction he wrote under another name years ago. It's pretty different from Wheel of Time, though, as you might imagine. Yeah, I want to know, actually, if you don't mind following up this comment, beat Bedtime Book, I don't know how to shorten that, Bedtime Bookworm. What was his writing style still pretty there? Or how different was it? What really brought in the difference? We have a few spoiler comments here I'll come back to, and then we're moving on to a couple more spoiler-free comments here. I think, a couple of things to say about the music. This is from Cameron Bradley. I think that there should be two versions of Dance with the Jack of the Shadows song. One that's quite rowdy and the soldiers would sing. Reflections of sound and sound music have done like this on YouTube. Sorry about screwing that up. And one that is very haunting with no words, but to be Matt's theme of source. I think it would be good if the characters had their own themes, like each house got the God. Bleh. I feel good if each of the main characters has their own themes, like each house in Game of Thrones has a theme, or something to that extent. What do people think about this? Well, Cameron, I agree. I think music is as important. I think music is as important as anything in a show or movie or anything like that. Have you seen what happens if you take the music out of Star Wars? It becomes hot garbage. And I'm not talking about Star Wars, all the movies. I'm talking about Star Wars, the first movie, as it should be called. It's not A New Hope, it's Star Wars. Anyway, yeah, I agree. And I think, there should be, you pointed out something here I think I hadn't thought about before, and it's brilliant. Cameron, you want to take over the show? Because you're clearly better than me. Moving on. Nerd Zone commented hashtag spoiler free-ish. I haven't read this yet, but I'm going to have faith in you, all right? Because you seem cool. But if this is spoilery, I went ahead and read it and had to edit out what I read because it's very, very spoilery. Damn it, Nerd Zone. Don't say spoiler-free-ish if you're going to do details like that. I'm kidding. You're fine. But a little more carefulness in the future. From Rickham. I think I said your name right first try. I think I said it right first try. I need someone to send me a cake. Wow, I loved the email correspondence. I did too. Hashtag WoTTalk. I don't see them. Responses to the pinned comment. I'll come back to this later. Though it's not your fault, Rickham. I didn't make it clear before. Okay, a lot of comments that should have been responses to the pinned comment. All right. So we have a lot of spoilers here. A lot. Okay. Okay. Yep. We're probably gonna have to move. No. Some spoiler-free ones. We're staying away from spoilers for another minute here. From Kelia, I think I'm saying your name right. Silvis. Robes versus dresses and on Aes Sedai isn't a deal breaker for me. She's referencing the things the artists got wrong last video. But Aiel in armor, that makes my skin crawl. And you know what? It should. It should. It's offensive. All right. We need to find these artists. We need to let them know that we don't stand for this culturism. You know, it's sickening. I can't even keep that up. All right, moving on. So we have one from David Quinton. I think you should do a video on how to pronounce the names of characters and cities, as not all have access to the audiobooks. Plus, it makes it easier when talking to other fans about the series. You don't end up making a fool of yourself when you suddenly butcher a name. David, I really agree. I wish I could, but have you heard me try to say names, bro? Have you heard me try to pronounce my own shit sometimes, bro? I listen to the audiobooks and I still screw stuff up. Me and names are not friends, man. I can't be that guy for you. I'm gonna throw out for other booktubers. I'm making a request. Any other booktuber watching this, Bedtime Bookworm, pressure's on you. You gotta make this video because my dyslexic ass cannot. Oh crap! I bumped the mic. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I can't make that video. I'm not your guy. I'm not gonna be that guy for you. I apologize, but it's not gonna be me. I'm horrible. All right, moving on. We have some more coming in here from Chuck B. Sanderson page. It's quite interesting. Wheel of Time news. I'm not gonna check that out, but someone else do it and let me know. No, I'm kidding. I'll check out Chuck B. Sanderson's page. And I'll let you know what I think of that news going forward. Actually, you know what? Let me just Google it right now. Hold on, check. Chuck B. Brandon. Okay. Now you guys can hear how bad I am at typing. Jesus, wow, that's even bad for me. Brandon Sanderson on Twitter. I don't see anything here. It's probably been too long. Anyway, moving into the spoiler-free section. How anticlimactic was that? We're gonna go over just random spoiler comments here. So get out if you have not finished the series, or if you don't care and you haven't finished, just keep on with us. Although I think you're personally a bit of a sociopath, because I don't get how people cannot care about spoilers. That's a big deal for me. I'm terrified. All right, moving on in. We have some just general spoilers here from Piotr Jorfalski. I'm messing up your name, but I like messing your name up probably the most of any name here because, man, that is a fun name. Things portrayed. Oh, God, that's a comment that should be a response to the pinned comment, Piotr. I had faith, and you disappointed. No, I'm kidding. You're fine. I'll come back to your comment later. All right. So we have some spoilers here from Cameron Bradley. I think that Rand's love triangle. It should be a comment as well. Response. All right. We have one from Ippa. All right. Oh no, spoilers, Ippa. I have faith in you that you're not about to have a comment that should be a response to the pinned comment. Have faith. Don't disappoint. I forgot to comment in last week's episode. Oh, all right. So you're doing a comment for last week's. That's fine. All right. I want to see Dumais Wells. I want to see Rand returning to Tyr after reaching his Zen on top of Dragon Mount and apologizing to Tam is what I think you meant, for what he almost did. My favorite scene in the series. Underappreciated scene, easily top 5 for me. You're right. I want epic. Top 5 Wheel of Time scenes video. Top 10 Wheel of Times. Top 5. I'll do that. That's coming. Moving on. I want epic Trolloc slaughter at Meridon, and I want you didn't listen. I didn't come here to win. I came here to kill you. Death is lighter than a feather. I agree. I want all that as well. And then you move on to responding to the thing that should be response to pinned on top. You can comment twice and put your pinned comment. All right. Moving forward. People just to get back at me are gonna you're all just gonna comment not to the pinned comment, aren't you? You terrible people. I love y'all. I think, okay, another one that should be response to the pinned. All right, from Puya Shirazi, I think the conversation between Rand and Luce Theron, which is to me the most important scene in the series, is a scene that I'm most God. All right, we're doing a response to pinned comment. We're just gonna move on. We're just gonna see them. We're just gonna move on to what the response is to last week's question, because apparently there were no other just general spoiler-free comments. No. So I'm going to go and I'm going to read the ones that actually did respond to my pinned comments first. I'm going to respond to all of them. And then if we have time, I'm going to go to the ones that weren't responses to the pinned comment. I don't know why I'm so angry about this. I have no reason to be. It's just objectively not a big deal. From Vixelian, the scene that came to my mind immediately when you asked this question was Cadsuane breaking and then spanking Cimarog. That would be some weird stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of spanking in Wheel of Time, #WoTSpanks. And I don't think any of it is going to come across great. If I had top 10 questions I could ask Rafe Judkins, the guy who is writing the episodes, in the top 5 would be, how you going to handle the spanks, bro? From Ryan Ratchford. Good to see your face here again, man. I think I just responded to your question you left on my Ready Player One review. It was I'm sorry some of you guys get responses and some don't. I literally open the YouTube creator app and whatever the top comment is from whatever video I typically respond to, but they're coming in at such a rapid rate now that usually a few comments have been pushed off. So I'm seeing maybe 1 in 5, and I respond when people are asking questions as much as I can. But they're rolling in fast and hot. Sorry, back to Ryan Ratchford's comment. I have no idea how well or poorly, or if they just cut it, but I wonder how they'd handle the whole Matt being raped and characters' reactions to it. If there's one thing from Wheel of Time, I'm not just hoping they change, but it could be a real problem if they don't. It's not that Matt is raped. I'm fine with, if it's a good serving the story thing, having horrible things like that happen, they can happen in stories. I'm not against that. But the people's reaction to it needs to change, because men being sexually assaulted is not a joke. And I know some people do treat it like that, but no, it's not a joke. It's just as bad as a woman getting sexually assaulted. Rape is rape, and what happened to Matt was, without a doubt, rape. So yeah, I'm right there with you on that, and it needs to be changed. That, if I could ask Robert Jordan many questions, one of the first ones would be, hey man, why'd you think it was okay to portray sexual assault on a man that way? From Neil B. Dumais Wells. I have faith that they're going to put a crap ton of money into bringing Dumais Wells to life and make it super duper amazing and awesome. So I think it would be difficult, but if there's one scene they're going to try the hardest in terms of epic grand scene things, I would say that Dumais Wells is probably up there. A few years ago, I'd say that Matt would just say what happened and everyone... Oh, he's responding to Ryan Ratchford. A few years ago, I'd say Matt would just say what happened and everyone would laugh and take it as a boast. Not sure. Maybe just skip it. I don't think they should skip it. I don't think we should shy away from having these conversations. And art, like shows and books portraying these things, are how you start conversations a lot of times. I just hope they change how people react. I want them to set the example that, look, this is a bad thing. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on to Scott Jameson. There's going to be someone in the comments who's like, it wasn't rape. I will hurt you. Anyway, moving on. I just issued a threat. Don't mean it. I was joking. Boom. Now you can't legally do anything. Moving on to Scott Jameson. Perrin communicating with the wolves with images/synths might be difficult to show. Yeah, that's going to be extremely difficult to show. Maybe they'll just start off with Perrin being overwhelmed by vision and seeing just make it voices in his head while the wolves stare at him. Yeah, God, that's going to be tricky. I hope they do more of an image-based thing. They could. There's a show where they did something similar to that. Oh, or is it show or movie where someone's communicating with animals and they just see like flashes of images? Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. What was that? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I hope they don't just do straight up talking with wolves. I hope they stay true to the source material on that one from Swan Randy. That's how I'm gonna say your name from now on. Vexillion, that scene was so cringy. Oh, she's responding to Spanking Cimarog. That scene was so cringy, nothing Cadsuane could do would ever truly affect Cimarog, and it's just absurd from beginning to end. I'm glad that Cadsuane's hubris was so extremely effectively demonstrated by Cimarog, though. Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. Neil B., the Eelfin and Aelfin spelling, yeah, I think you got it right. The Snake and Foxes people. Again, something they might entirely cut and just kind of make it like Matt goes on a thing and now he's back and this happened. They might, I don't know how they're going to portray that. It'll be weird. I hope they portray it as like a horror scene. I want that to be like scary. I want it to be a like dun 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 moment. From Noel G. Character, Lan. I'm hoping the writers don't fall into the trope of making Lan into another Aragorn clone. He's similar for sure, but he has his own depth as well. Yeah. I would say, yeah. Let me try to think on this for a second. So, I'm not throwing shade at Aragorn here, but in modern standards, he's not the deepest character, especially for the rogue type. And Lan is a bit of an evolution from that typical Aragorn clone, just like Moraine is certainly an evolution and inspired by a Gandalf. So I'm hoping, even if they do Lan poorly, he'll come across as an Aragorn, which is alright, but if they do him well, he will come across as deeper and more relatable than Aragorn was. So I think that's a good like judge we can have as fans going forward for the series. You hearing that, Rafe? We're gonna have standards. God damn it. I'm being aggressive this episode, guys. I napped and I'm actually well rested. Unlike most of the times I record these at 5 a.m. Right now I'm recording it at 9. So I'm actually in decent condition right now. The scenes in the Aiel saunas and in the actual Battle of Rand versus the Dark One. I'm not going to comment on the Rand versus the Dark One. I'm actually going to comment on the Aiel saunas thing, and here's why. I think when the Aiel are naked, which they should keep that in, that these characters, they get all down to their skinnies, it should not be framed sexually. Unless there's like a male character who's not used to it, like Rand or something present, I think the Aiel saunas should be portrayed and framed very non-sexually. Just this is the cultural norm. And you can, as a cinematographer, as someone who, does this for TV or movies or whatever, you can make that happen. There are movies where you just don't notice nudity as much because they aren't framing it as this sexual thing. So I think that's doable, and I think they keep it in, but they just make it as this is a thing. You know what I mean? I'm stalling because I need to hit show more. Okay, scrolling. God damn it, YouTube. All right, so from Pretty Alright, the guy with the best username of all time. I think you and I got in a bit of a debate recently, did we? Was that you? I don't remember. I would say the pseudo birth by the one power scene between Avienda and Elaine. I don't know why that'd be difficult. I think that'd be pretty straightforward. As long as they're doing the one power justice, I think that'd be pretty easy. And I hope the dynamic between Aviendha and Elaine stays true, because it's one of the reasons Elaine becomes one of the most likable characters in my mind. Hashtag fight me. Elaine's not that bad. I like her. Bring it on. From Degoizi, the Dediguys 001. I'm going to go with Degoizi because it sounds better in my head. Rand's interactions with Luz Theron will make or break the show. Internal monologues are hard enough. Internal dialogues are even more difficult. These are commonly used in anime to great effect, but live-action adaptations have struggled. As someone who's not an anime fan, I'm going to ask you, provide some clips. I'd like to see some clips. I don't know if I could just like YouTube anime mental dial. I wouldn't know what series to look for that do it well. If one of you guys who likes anime, which is fine, can provide some good examples, I might agree with you that they hope they just maybe take some notes from anime on that one. Though, I would actually rather see us kind of go into Rand's head, which might sound weird, but I'd like to kind of see, like, physically him and Luz Theron kind of arguing in a more confrontational, these are two actors going at it way. I don't want it to go the Dexter route, where there's a guy in the room with, like, Rand who no one else can see but Rand, and they just have this conversation that for some reason no one else hears. I don't like that. I'd rather see it, we actually go into their heads, and there's that thing, and maybe Luz Theron goes from this kind of ominous present and slowly solidifies into a person. Know what I mean? Moving on to Twin Tree, good name, responding to Ryan Ratchford. Let's see which one's he responding to here. Let's go back up to Ryan Ratchford. Ryan Ratchford was talking about Matt being sexually assaulted. What does Twin Tree have to say about that? Are we about to get an argument, Twin Tree? They might just cut that out. From what I remember of that, it wasn't that important to the main arc of Matt as a whole. I definitely think the whole relationship was just uncomfortable to experience. I don't think they should cut out stuff just because it's uncomfortable. That's an experience. That's an emotional response. That being said, I also think it was pretty important to Matt, because when she dies, it hits him hard, and it makes him really start hating that golem. Granted, the golem kills a lot of people he cares about, and he has a lot of reasons to hate that golem. But the reason the main confrontation with the golem was so heavy was Matt had so much, like the golem took so much from Matt and hurt him in such weird ways. And Matt had a bit of Stockholm syndrome, where he actually kind of started liking this woman, which, again, I think they should portray correctly. And I don't want that taken out. I want Matt to have that many reasons. I want the confrontation with the golem to have that high of stakes, because that was a good fight. Boy, that was an amazing fight. From Matthew Stormblessed. Hey, Matthew, I hope you like Cause Talk. I hope you did, because you're one of the people I made it for. The last battle is so big and expansive that it would be hard to bring it to the screen. Hopefully, by this time, they have a big enough budget to accomplish this. Also, Aes Sedai trying to shield/cut off each other's shields. Yeah. To anyone watching, it would be a stare off, so I guess they have to show all the weaves. Dreams might also be a little odd too. Rand has some odd ones, especially in the beginning. Okay, this made me think of a weird thing. I kind of agree with everything you said. All those things are going to be tricky. But can we talk about the weird Marvel humor moment that happens at one point? I think it's when Nynaeve and maybe is it Mogideon? Yeah. They're trying to, like, fight with the one power, and from their perspective, we're seeing all these weaves is crazy, and then this woman walks in, and she just sees two women staring at each other. That just screamed for me like Marvel humor, which I don't hate. I'm a Marvel fan. You guys know that. It just felt a little out of place. But it's a comedy moment. I hope they get right. Hashtag James Gunn to direct. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right. From UHLBLK. I'm not even wrong. That's just a hard thing to pronounce. Okay. I guess I would call it an arc. I guess I would call it an arc. I think the hardest thing to convey will be the Aiel Society in Ji'ito. We got that mass of murdering savages terrorizing the world and trying to get people to understand that they have some code, as the ones that are following Rand and are trying to stop them will probably fail totally. I don't know if I read that horribly, if I was just a little bit confused the way it's worded, but I'm going to move on. But I think I agree with what you're saying. I don't know. But the Aiel, I think people in modern society want to identify and justify cultures they see as different. So I think most people will get on the Aiel side pretty quickly. because that's the trendy thing people like to do. They like to, well, it's not, it's also correct. I think it's good to be open to cultures and learn about them and things, and people in today's society are more open to that. All right. From Ox F5, you left quite a bit here, so I'm going to kind of summarize. Oh, you left little summaries at the beginning, so I'm just going to go off those kind of quickly. Talking to wolves, we went over that. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. The one power weaves, we've talked about that many times. And you say you can't, you're not really seeing consistency. Actually, if you guys want, this is actually big news. If you want to see how Robert Jordan, I think, wanted weaving to be portrayed, get the New Spring novel, graphic novel, because it's in there, and we all saw how much he had input on these things being brought to the page. So if you want to see what Trollocs are supposed to look like, if you want to see what weaving was supposed to look like in his head, go check it out, because it's all in there. And that guy was arguing with people about dresses, so there's no way he didn't also say, this is what weaving looks like, fight me. You know what I mean? Podon Fane seems problematic on screen, though. His transformation will probably be unrecognizable from episode to episode. Without narration and point of view, he can't even be referred to by characters in the room to tell us who he is. They all know him by different names. I can't imagine how to tell us who he is without either taking up a lot of time or dropping out a lot of scenes. Probably just a creepy vibe. Just a consistent creepy vibe. Especially, I don't think his face changes that much, because Rand recognizes him at different points much later on. So I mean, just get one actor, you should be all right. I expect a lot of bad accents or attempts. I think they should drop the accents. I know that sounds lazy, but I've seen way too many actors and actresses just absolutely demolish accents. I don't even want to see them. Just give it up. I've yet to see an accent remain consistent and good for long periods of time. Game of Thrones is attempting it. They're probably doing the best job I've seen. But even then, there's occasionally characters where you're just like, oh, yep, you dropped it. Oh, it's back. Okay. Oh, it's gone. Oh, back. Okay. Accusations that using a map in the title sequence would be is derivative of Game of Thrones, even if it really should be a minimum standard for epic fantasy adaptations now. I don't want them using a map. I'm disagreeing with you. I think you and I need to have a boxing match, KSI Logan style. No. I disagree. I don't want them using a map for that. I would much rather see a kind of a quick flash through of the Aiel War being the opening sequence. And I know that would probably, you're like, well, that'll get old after a while. But don't frame it as this is the Aiel War. Frame it as this is just how huge this world is. Because that war is so massive. So many countries, nations, and clans involved. I think just kind of setting the standard of look at this damn world through that. Just kind of having this epic scope of Aiel clashing and things. And that way the Aiel stay in people's minds up until the point we really meet them, because they're going to consistently be shown to us. Or, maybe do it with Trolloc Wars or something like that. I just want the opening sequence to be setting the tone and standard for the series. Just do some major historical event and kind of do a flash through of it, kind of like the opening sequence, Lord of the Rings style, but obviously much more cut up and montagey. That's just my opinion, and I'm probably wrong. I haven't thought that through very well. The wrong hair color on characters the first couple seasons, causing major continuity issues in later seasons when they get their home city. The White Tower is too big and too empty. I expect the set designers to freak out and do it wrong. Yeah. I like the constant stream of extras in the West Wing. Great reference, bro. Oh my god, I love that show. No, I think they'll probably do it right. I think the tower being empty is a huge deal. I can't imagine they messed that up too bad. Just my opinion. All right, so we're getting on a little deeper here. From Michael Graham. Spoilers, of course. Response to question. Egwene's repeated beatings when she is caught by the White Tower that will require excellent actress that seem real, or what they're going to have actually beat someone to make it look right. It happens over and over, and I think on TV it will seem funny instead of characters. Oh, no. I'm going to disagree with you harshly here, man. One, I don't think this is an actress thing as much as you're thinking. It's more of a cinematography, how they frame it, and audio thing. You can make hitting people funny, and you can make it very not funny, all depending on what sounds you use, the music, and the framing. Even if someone is laughing, if you use the right music and you use the right sound effects, it's not funny. So I'm going to disagree with you. I think, yeah, as long as you have a good actress, she'll make it fine. But I'm hoping more for better cinematographers and better sound design and music. From Sarah Graham, leaving 2 big comments here. I'm going to randomly choose this one that doesn't start with also, and we'll see how that goes. I'm also, so you started, okay. I'm also looking forward to Tell Everyone Riyadh scenes if done right. I think trying to show the wolves communicating with Perrin has potential. Yep, some stuff we've gone over here. I looked up the scene, chapter 23, Eye of the World, where Perrin and Egwene meet Elias, and he says, it isn't exactly talking. The words don't matter, and they aren't exactly right either. Her name isn't Dapple. It's something that means the way shadows play on a forest pool in midwinter dawn. But the breeze rippling on the surface and the tang of ice with the water touches the tongue and a hint of snow before nightfall in the air. But that isn't quite it either. You can't say it in words. It's more of a feeling. That's the way the wolves talk. That imagery has to be the potential to be very powerful and beautiful if done right. That's why I'm saying cinematography is going to be like the biggest thing for Wheel of Time going forward. We need to get some more of these comments. I'm not going to read your second one. Sorry, Sarah, but you bring up a great point. And I agree with you. Neil B., you got some stuff in here as well. I got you earlier, so I'm going to move on to S. Hollis. Spoilers, the first scene that comes to mind is the duel between Malgidian and Nynaeve and Tarabon. That's what I was talking about earlier. Not that it would be overly difficult to shoot. It's basically 2 women having a staring contest, but bringing across the actual danger and conflict that involved would be very difficult to come across. Other places where channeling is prevalent, the last battle, Demise Wells, etc., there's an actual visual effect. Quite often a visceral effect too. I agree. Everything you said here. I honestly think that scene should be kind of played for comedy a little bit. Just when that woman comes in, keep it, put the joke in. I like that joke. Why not? From the School Rambler, good name. I dig that. Gotta be the Trolloc scene. They're most likely gonna be over CGI with very little practical effects. No! I don't want to see that, but you're probably right. Maybe if they're done like the Uruk-hai from the Lord of the Rings movies, they'll look amazing. That's the way I'm hoping. And if you guys want to see what Robert Jordan wanted Trollocs to look like, look up just panels from the New Spring novel, because they're actually fairly different, graphic novel, because they're actually very different from what I thought they were going to look like. But I'm in agreement with you here, man. I think it'd be difficult, because Trollocs need to look scary. A bunch of stuff from VR Ice Blast responding to people, but I can't get into everyone's response. A couple more from Cameron Bradley here. I love you guys having this conversation going forward. I appreciate it. You guys make this show so fun to do when you have actual dialogue, because that means I can come back and read opinions and debate, which is just great. From Shirley Ann Bez, I can't say that, sorry. I think depicting the ways and the terror of Ma Tin Shin could be hard, because aesthetically, having so much darkness for so long can make the viewer lose interest, and once again, good sound editing will be key in realizing the effect of the Black Wind. I have no comment because you said it perfectly. Moving on. From YG Lander. Most of what came to my mind is already mentioned, so I stick to the point I did not read yet. I stick to a point I did not read yet. Shadow Spawn, especially Gray Man. Probably most Shadow Spawn will be made with CGI. Only ones I want to see be made with CGI are Murderall, so they kind of just feel different, but everything else I want practically. And I hope they do a good job just making them as described in the books. I like Murderall Cloak, which is not touched by the wind. I hope they don't put hair on them. I know that's wrong technically, but I don't like the idea of Murderall with hair. I like them bald. I like my Murderall bald. Hashtag bald is beautiful. I think once you said in a previous video that you can see that Gray Men may be completely cut from the TV show, I can see that happening too, but I hope they include them. Me too. They are a fantastic way, if done well, to immerse the audience. Just imagine a scene where Perrin, Fael, Moiraine, and Len at a tavern. Perrin gazes through the tavern, and you see the men carrying knives, and I think... some people coming to you, some people sitting at tables, the bartender, the serving maids, everything normal until you realize that persons approaching are carrying knives. I think it could be awesome because unless the camera somehow reveals the importance of the Gray Man at the moment of the audience will receive them as normal. I hope I could... people background actors not really worth noticing like they are intended. I hope I could bring across what I mean since English is not my mother tongue. I know exactly what you mean, and I think you're totally right. It's a framing cinematography thing of don't make it important to the audience. It's going to be a little tricky, but I think it's very, very doable. We're getting towards kind of maybe the end tier of comments. I'm going to skip some people who have already been mentioned a little bit. From John Harden, the unmoving cloak of the Fade on the Ride of the Two Rivers. It is something that sounds cool and very eerie in the book, but seems hard to translate the film. That detail might be cut, though. Elaine's relationship with Tom. I don't know how I feel about either of those. I need to think about them more, so I'm going to move on. From Tabby Martinez. Great name. That's one of my favorite names of all time, Martinez. There are a number of scenes I think will not work out very well that pop up in my mind every time I picture the Wheel of Time as a live-action series. Mostly, it's all the scenes where you can't even tell what's going on while reading like an Eye of the World when Rand fights a Shamael and suddenly gets teleported on the battlefield. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. Additionally, I'd like to nominate Loyal as the character that's most likely to get screwed up. Don't ask why, I just have a bad feeling about the adaptation of the series. If they screw up Loyal, we all boycott. Loyal is bae. Another one from Keely Silvis, but I'm just going to quickly, this one's pretty quick. Actually, no spoilers in this comment, and it's more of an aesthetic detail, but the scene/arc/character, I think capturing, 1, the warders, color-shifting cloaks, and 2, the Murdrolls' unmoving cloaks will be a unique graphical challenge. I would like it to be something incredibly subtle, perhaps not even openly mentioned, a detail that stands out to and delights fans of the series without causing distracting newcomers. Yeah. That's cool. Or if you want to go the lazy route, just put like warders in like Walmart camo, you know? I'm joking. I know I just triggered like half of y'all. It's a joke, I promise. Flat brim. I also think the Ogier and the Steading will be hard to do. Make them so different from Trollocs. Yeah. From John Mayer. Am I saying your name wrong? I don't know. Probably the biggest thing that will be Side-R, Side-E channeling and distinguished from each other. We've talked about that. Yep. And the last one we're going to do for this episode from Adam Glenn. Loyal. Man, I'm happy to talk about Loyal again. It's always going to be Loyal for the sheer amount of time he spends with the group, because if they do not get his look and height difference right, it will look damn comical. Yeah, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. I'm in agreement. All right, guys, I don't have time to get into all the other comments that were not a response to the pinned comment, and I apologize for that, but if you want me to get to it next episode, make sure it's a response to the pinned comment, which will be there at the top. And remember, my question for next week: what's your Wheel of Time story? How did you find the series? What was it like going through it? How long did it take you to finish it? Where, did you get through it on your first try? And what was the feeling you had after you were done? What did you immediately pick it up? Where'd you go? Did you go over to Brandon Sanderson? I bet a lot of you went over to Brandon Sanderson. Anyway, y'all, that's it for me today. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to see me make my own Wheel of Time show. We just got to get the budget. # hit the goal of $1 million. We're going to make our own Wheel of Time show. And have a good one, y'all. Peace.